Hello guys, I'm back with another video. Today's video is going to be about the topic of superhero fatigue. I've heard about this term since probably like the end of Endgame, where people have talked about they feel like they're tired of superhero movies, tired of superhero TV, tired of superhero media. And, for me, I've always been, like people would say, like a super fan. Like I've loved superheroes since I was like 6 years old, and I'm 26 now. So it's been 20 years of just me loving it and still getting excited for more superhero product and more superhero stuff. And um, I always when I heard that term, I always felt like that was like a cop out reason to say like the new stuff is just not good. Like this, like and I think it came at the right time with Endgame. That's when we saw Invincible, The Boys. Those shows have shined through, but I feel like those shows are for people who are like, those are not casuals. I feel like casual people would say, I have superhero fatigue. I don't want to watch everything. I don't care about every superhero. I just care about, like, you know, the normal stuff. There's people who just will not watch everything just because it's Marvel and DC. But I am one of those people who will. And I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But, you know, so for me, I don't think it's real. But I can understand if you're a casual where you're like, okay, I saw Doctor Strange 2. I didn't get to see WandaVision. I was confused about the plot. I didn't know I had to watch all this stuff to understand what's going on. Or like if you were born later, like how are you supposed to know which movie you're supposed to see? You gotta go through a lot of movies, a lot of TV. It's a lot of stuff to catch up on. Like it's a lot of media. If you're late in the game, the way the MCU has done things. DC, they've done a lot of reboots and there's not a lot of stuff to connect. But with the Marvel, it's quite a bit. But for me, I think when people say superhero fatigue, they just don't like the product like that's coming out. And I think people should just say like, oh, well, the stuff that has come out since Endgame just isn't that strong. But there's been some good stuff like No Way Home and Guardians 3 and Deadpool 3, which came out last year, and I like Thunderbolts. So there's been some good stuff, but I think there's just been I guess there's an oversaturation in the drama. But even like if just in DC alone, I'll probably put up a photo. The amount of characters in DC alone is ridiculous. Like, yo, matter of fact, in the new Superman film, we have like a different Green Lantern. That's not Jon Stewart. That's not Hal Jordan. And that's not Kyle Rayner. It's Guy Gardner. So this is one of the four Green Lanterns. And he's gonna be a part of the Justice League. There's like at least three Hawk Girls. You know, and we haven't even gotten to the sidekicks and the different Wonder Girls, Captain Atom, Shazam. They did the Shazam family. There's just so many characters in one universe alone. You're just not gonna get through all of that. And then there's just so much movies and TV shows you could do. And I feel like with DC and Marvel, their problem is they haven't made like they haven't they haven't used the best one, like their best characters and their best people. Like Marvel, they just released Ironheart, awful trailer. They did Miss Marvel, awful show. They did She-Hulk, disappointing. Like, and She-Hulk was probably the only big one where I was like, okay, that had potential, and it was not good. And it's like, okay, you finally did Fantastic Four. Let's see if that's good. You have access to the Inhumans. All right, the show is bad. Reboot it or have them show up somewhere else. Like, you also have all the X-Men. All the X-Men 97 was fire. If you can duplicate that into a live action format, bro, you have gold. The X-Men alone is a whole lot of like so much potential in that storytelling. I just feel like, they go in the representation route, which is like fine, but it has to be good. You can't go that route and not give us good stuff or a good product. Some people like Shang-Chi. I thought it was okay. I thought it was very generic. If you've seen any type of uh it had a lot of martial arts lore, a lot of martial arts myths in it. If you've seen anything like that, that's all Shang-Chi was, just with a lot of CGI. So things like that. So I think that's what they mean. But oversaturation and fatigue. Am I fatigued? No. I can eat this up. I've seen all the reboots. You know, I just finished watching the Justice League TV show, the cartoon, and that was such a good show. I'm surprised it never got revived. So, you know, is superhero fatigue real for the casuals? Maybe. For me, no. I just think people really mean like they don't like the movies and show that have come out. And like even back then when I thought like the movie that's coming out for the MCU, I'm like, y'all serious? Like when I heard Shang-Chi, I'm like, who the hell is that? You could just do a different Iron Fist. Why Shang? Like who is that? You know? Um, and even like like I said, I've seen all the Marvel stuff, right? I never saw Agatha. I never saw Agatha the Harkness. Never saw that show. I didn't understand why they gave her a show. Like she's not a big villain. She's not like nothing popular. Like I didn't understand the purpose of that. Um, you know, so as far as the future of superhero TV, there's still some bright spots like Invincible, Boys is about to end, Deadpool. Well, there's rumors of a Deadpool 4. Daredevil coming out next season. So there's some good stuff. And obviously if you follow my channel, you clearly are somebody who really loves superhero stuff, superhero lore, and are just intrigued on what they're gonna do next, you know? And I feel like in superhero genre, you can just go in so many different ways. Right now, they're just going the wrong route. And it's like they say, things are not always going to be like, you know, the peak of MCU. That was never going to stay forever. They were not always going to sustain that. But I still think they could have gave us something better in the last, 7 years, almost 8 years since the Endgame. You know, Endgame in a few years is going to be 10 years old. Crazy to believe. So, you know, I think we still have a bright future in the superhero world. I think DC has a bright future under James Gunn. And, you know, Marvel, there's hope. I'm more of a DC guy than Marvel. I just know more about DC. But, you know, as a fan, you want both of them to succeed. You do not want, like, if Marvel don't succeed, don't just think, oh, DC is going to rise from the ashes. That's not how it works. If Marvel fails, DC is going to fail next. So if Marvel's doing well, DC can do well too. So they just need to put out a good product so that we as fans can enjoy and eat up and see many, many more to come and keep expanding this universe and, you know, just getting some enjoyment and some entertainment, man. So that's what I got to do on the topic. Thanks for listening. Catch y'all later.